Are you struggling with feeling stuck in your life journey? Does it seem as if the challenges or conflicts that you keep experiencing are on repeat? Healing through feeling could be your new way through to a more satisfying life. Now, here is the host of the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide, Sharyn Nichols.
Hello, welcome. I am so excited to be here again. I am so in love with this process of life and me, and that I get to continue to grow and change and learn. So I'm Sharyn Nichols. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California, and I'm also calling myself a life guide because I have helped so many people with their own life just by being an example and by showing up, really being present and being myself, modeling for those around me, and being a mother of three. I'm so lucky and blessed. I have three incredible children, and I learned early on, or it came to me early on, that one of my purposes for being on the planet at this time, other than getting out of my own way, was to raise three children, or as many children, I suppose, but three is what I was blessed with. And to raise three children, oh my gosh, my mind just shut down for a second. To raise my children, to get out of their own way, to be well adjusted. Thank you. That was the word that I was looking for. To raise my children to be well adjusted. And I didn't realize that I was going to give them the thing that they needed to get adjusted from. And that was getting divorced when they were 9 and 7 and 4. So moving on, talking about today's topic, which is getting out of your own way, which actually does tie back around for me. I guess let's talk about what it means to get out of your own way, about being on the merry-go-round. When I was a little kid, my parents took me probably once or twice or more, I don't know. It was cold and sometimes rainy because I grew up in New York on Long Island, and we would go to a merry-go-round, or to an indoor, some sort of park. And what I loved doing was literally getting on the merry-go-round. I would always try and get, one of the horses, they went up and down and then went around. And so I would try and get on one of the outside horses, because there was literally grabbing for the brass ring. I mean, I'm assuming we've all heard, oh, grab for the brass ring, go for the brass ring. And so I literally we'd go around in a circle. And I guess looking back, what I noticed, or what I experienced, was I literally would have to hold on, although I'd have to get up a little bit up off of the horse, and I would have to actually reach. I would have to reach to grab for the brass ring. So it wasn't like the ring was going to come. I had to actually move. I actually had to do something in order to make it happen. And yeah, it was scary because I could fall off. What if I didn't actually make it? Just the what ifs. And there were a couple of times where I'd go around and I wouldn't try. And I remember the self-talk over me, and then the goal that I set for myself, because they kept refilling the ring. So like you could have 10 after your ride. And of course, I would always buy more tickets and go on the ride again. So first and foremost, it's about being on the merry-go-round and using it for your own highest good. And then it's about getting off. And so the other thing about the merry-go-round is you doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So That's the definition of insanity. And I know we've all heard it, and it's something that sorry, I have some notes and I'm using them as a crutch because I'm really, really nervous. This is still all so new for me and so incredible. So thank you so much for all of you that are listening and are just holding me where I am, because I can't thank you enough for that, because the beautiful thing is that we are all here together to hold each other, to move through this lifetime, or your own individual, and of course mine, together. We can't exist alone. It's part of the human condition, and I'm so grateful to be human. I love that I am predictable. And then I also love that I can do things differently, that I get to be a unique human being in the sea of more unique human beings. You know, I've done so many workshops. I have done so many trainings. I'm a certified handprint analyst. I am a certified Kundalini yoga teacher. It's all about moving the energy. It's about the mind, the body, the soul. I've been studying the mind. That's what I got. I got my master's degree in psychology. So I would have something to back me up when I wanted to talk about what my thoughts were and what they were doing to me and how they were affecting me. And so then I, of course, could point my finger at you and say, nope, no shoulding. I'm big with the shoulding. We'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, this is just more of me getting out of my own way. And so I'm going to go back to that definition of what does it actually mean to get out of your own way. It's literally this. It's me showing up, being present. Getting out of your own way is truly about being present. I have a quote. I had one of my first supervisors on her wall had a quote. For a long time, it seemed that life was about to begin. Real life, but there was always some obstacle in the way, something to be gotten through first, some unfinished business, time to still be served, a debt to be paid. And at last it dawned on me that all of these obstacles were actually my life. And this was 25 years ago that I read this, and it took me so long to finally move the obstacles or accept them and know that I could either go over them, under them, or through. So I'm assuming that all of you have experienced your own version of going underneath them. So therefore having to dig a big enough hole so you could actually shimmy your way through, or you tried to climb over it, and that required, getting the grappling hook so you could tie the rope so you could pull yourself up and over. And then it was always crashing on the other side and or creating a soft landing, one of the two, because you always have a choice. And then also going around it. So going around, sometimes it could be really small. It could be a small obstacle. So going around was easy. However, sometimes it just kept going and going and going. And so there was never any end in sight. So then what would happen is you'd probably start running back so you can then dig the hole to go under or try again to go over. Get out of your own way. Take a breath. Get out of your own head. You're the one who's holding you back. So I was the queen of putting obstacles in my own way. And actually, my boyfriend now even currently accuses me of, not always, but sometimes, just putting the obstacles in my way. And he loves watching me try and move them or go about running around them or under them or over them or even through. And I'm so grateful that I get to provide this comic relief for him, because I just keep to get going and doing, and living life and being the example, like I said, for my children. I've gotten such positive feedback from them that I just started this. They just keep telling me how proud they are. They haven't, to my knowledge, they haven't listened, and that's not even what it's about. It's about me doing something different. And therefore then I can expect a different result. Gosh, wow, 10 years ago, I said to myself, I need to start doing something different. I'm sort of feeling stuck and stagnant, and it was really important to me that I started showing up differently for my children. So I was never a really big runner. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do a 5K. And I got all excited. You would think I was training for a marathon. And I showed up, and one of my dearest friends had, made a t-shirt, Team Sharyn. It was awesome. I felt so supported in my decision to do something different for myself with my life. And it was so simple. And so I did it again the next year. And I'm like, you know what? Someone then told me that there's a Napa half marathon where they put wine out at mile 10. I'm like, wow, I get to train to run and I also get wine. I thought, oh my goodness, this is a match made in heaven. It was one of the most beautiful experiences that I ever had. And I also raised money for charity too. Like, it was just a win-win. Everything just kept unfolding. I ran, I felt so good about myself. And I had an incredible experience with horses going back to the merry-go-round. They ran with me for part of it, and they totally gave me the push and the energy that I needed to get to the finish line. I'm just going to keep breathing. Just keep breathing, Sharyn. Just keep breathing. That's it. That's all I can do. I was so beating myself up prior to here, and this has been in such an incredible learning curve. I am so grateful to myself that I said yes, that I keep stretching and growing, and that I am not staying stagnant, even when it feels as though I am. Being on the merry-go-round can feel as though you're moving, although you're stagnant. And so the beautiful thing is that eventually it stops, and you get to choose when it stops. You get to choose when you want to get off and make another decision and do something different. So this is my life. I finally realized that everything that is happening is unfolding for my highest good always. And I get to be a part of your ride, and you get to be a part of mine, because we're all in this together. So it is almost time for break. So please download the ICN app and come play with me in the chat room. I would love to hear what you have to say. I would love some questions, some feedback. I always work better that way, FYI. And you're listening to Sharyn Nichols, the Feel to Heal show on the Inspired Choices Network. And I'm so excited because when you come back, when we return, we're going to talk more about you getting out of your own way and expectations that get in your way, that prevent you from getting out of your own way. Looking forward to doing a little chair dance And please join me in the chat room and come have some
At different
fun.
times on our life journey, we can feel stuck and struggle with seeing our way through. What if the answer to the struggle is just to go deeper than the surface? By tuning in to Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols, you'll receive insight and guidance on exploring your feelings in order to heal yourself. Are you ready to create a more satisfying, peaceful, and successful life? Listen for the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also ask questions or comments by email by sending to Sharyn Nichols at feeltoheal.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back. Thanks. I really enjoyed the chair dancing. I love the music. It's just so inspiring. And I know I mentioned, again, this topic today is getting out of your own way. And I mentioned my children and that I didn't realize that I was going to give them the actual thing for them to be well adjusted to. And that was one of the biggest decisions I ever made in my life, was actually choosing to get a divorce. And the thing that actually pushed me over the edge, which is why today's topic even came about, was I used to have a theme of the day with my clients. And one day I had 6 clients, and in 5 out of the 6 sessions, either I said it organically or they said it organically that they needed to get out of their own way, or you need to get out of your own way. And I realized I needed to get out of my own way, that I was on the merry-go-round. I was doing that definition of insanity. I kept doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And this is me taking responsibility. I mean, I know it takes 2. Obviously, I was married. I had a husband. And this isn't even about him. This is just about me and my part in it, in the marriage, in the choices, in the relationship, and how I chose to show up. So what causes, or I guess what I believe, what can cause us to get in our own way in the first place? What causes us to get in our own way in the first place? I'm going to just sit back. I think it stems from our childhood. We don't have the executive reasoning and functioning in our prefrontal cortex until after the age 25, or at least up until then. So we have all these experiences that we then filter through a brain that is not fully formed. So we draw a conclusion and we make a decision about ourselves from a very early age without being able to process it. So, had a client who truly believed that she was selfish. She was told probably one time when she was a little girl that she was selfish because she was thinking about herself, and probably because that's the normal thing to do when you're 4 and 5 years of age. As a toddler, you're supposed to be thinking about yourself. you don't have the brain capacity to not. Although then as you get older and you start to understand more about who you are and how you and how you want to show up in the world. Of course, then we have our parents who are always well-intentioned and good meaning to only say and support you on your own path, except they're also human too. They have their own thoughts and feelings, and they have their own set of thoughts and feelings based on the conclusions that they drew as a child. And we are actually all just we're all little children in adult bodies. We're all still little kids that just want to be loved and liked, and yet we keep putting up these barriers so we could then potentially not be loved or liked, so we can keep proving our point. Anyway, bringing this back around because I feel like I'm going off on my tangent. So my client, who was told that she was selfish. As an adult, that would look like always doing something for somebody else all the time, always. And if there was any suggestion of self-care, they'd be like, nope, got to do more, got to do more, got to do more. And then because self-care could also be selfish. And so there's also the separation between being the martyr in terms of, nope, I have to do everything, to then be like, oh, it's okay. Don't worry. We've got you. So it's always going to be about the balance. I'm running that over again in my head to make sure that I understood what I was saying. It's about the balance of saying yes and setting a boundary. See, it's all just so intertwined. Everything is just breathe, Sharyn. Just breathe. My little girl is screaming at me right now. And she's saying, you got this, and it's okay, and you got this. Which is another way. Oh, thank you. I'm going to give her a big hug because I do got this. And my goal is to ultimately be able to start a show and go from beginning to end without me going off topic or I'm going to get off the merry-go-round right now. See, this is what I get to do. I get to get off the merry-go-round. So I want to talk about expectations because that's really important in terms of what keeps you on your own merry-go-round. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Oh. You know what? Before we get to expectations, we're going to go to shoulds because they're this very similar. So I Googled the definition of should from the Oxford Languages. Should, used to indicate obligation, duty, or correctness, typically when critical. So then I looked and found other words, synonyms of should: have to, must to, need, ought to. So such small little words with such big meaning. One small word that can actually just completely shift your whole perspective is you get to. So I get to make dinner for my family. I get to go to work. And I know you may be thinking, no, I don't want to. There's a difference between wanting and getting. I get to show up here today. I get to do this. I get to share of myself and share this message that is still forming within me. I just know that I should, and I am shooting on myself, that I should show up being in the present every single moment because I get to. I get to share of myself without worrying about the judgments and the shoulding that I've done on myself. Just before going on camera, I was talking with Christine McIver, and she said, get everyone out of your head. And she's so right. We have so many people in our head that again, these people become the obstacles. These thoughts that we have become the obstacles. Just keep breathing, Sharyn. I feel like Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. That's one of my favorite movies, by the way, because all that Marlon does is keep shooting on himself. He has such fear. He doesn't allow himself to get out of his own way so he could be okay with finding his son. He filled Nemo's head with such fear that there wasn't anything for Nemo to do but get out of it, run away, find some relief, do something new. And I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent. So I'm going to bring it back around that I get to. So I get to get out of my own way. I get to show up now each week with something to say and stretch it out. And yeah, I've spent so much of my shoulding is to say it quickly, keep it simple, small, little, because it's sound bites. I mean, that's what TikTok is all about. It's a sound bite. And so this is the long form of a sound bite, although I need to come up with a lot of little sound bites to then string together. And I get to get out of my own way each week. Yay, me. I've said for a really long time that I love when a client would come in with a pained look on their face and they would leave with a smile on their face and a skip in their step. And I really, truly didn't do much except hold up the mirror. Here's the mirror. Hold up the mirror for them and give them the opportunity to get out of their own way. Give them the opportunity to let go of the shoulds that they were carrying with them before they walked in. Let go of the voices in their head. Again, this is still about the mind and the body and the soul. So have another break coming, which yay me, I get to compose myself and pull it all together. So please join me in the chat room with your questions and comments. Join me live by going to the inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Click on chat room, and on the menu bar, our producers will guide you so you can be an audience member in the recording studio. You can keep your camera off. No one has to see you. No one even has to know that you're there. You can put in a fake name. It's all good. So When we come back, we will continue to discuss getting out of your own way. I so look forward to continuing on this journey with you all. Thank you so much. Great.
At different times on our life journey, we can feel stuck and struggle with seeing our way through. What if the answer to the struggle is just to go deeper than the surface? By tuning in to Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols, you'll receive insight and guidance on exploring your feelings in order to heal yourself. Are you ready to create a more satisfying, peaceful, and successful life? Listen for the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also ask questions or comments by email by sending to Sharyn Nichols at feeltoheal.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you. You are listening to Sharyn Nichols, Feel to Heal show on the incredible Inspired Choices Network. And I want to talk about a little bit about expectations. So somewhere inside of all of us, we are all waiting for our lives to improve. We all believe that, again, if we should on ourselves, that we will then miraculously, things will just happen. It's all just more of the same. So with expectations, you have the ability to discern whether you're going to actually be attached to them or not. And it's just being in expectation is just another way of keeping you stuck, and therefore then not keeping you present. So for instance, today, if I had the expectation that I was just going to suck and that this was just going to tank, then that's exactly what would have happened. Although if I allowed, which is what I did do, I allowed myself to be just me and be in the present moment, then exactly what was supposed to happen is actually happening. And I've detached myself from the expectation that I'm going to fail. Really, I mean, it's the expectation of failure, or it's about what can you do to not set yourself up to fail, and whatever that means to you and your definition of the word. We all have our own definitions of failing. And last week, my first episode doing this by myself, I learned so much about myself. And the biggest thing that I allowed was for me to be present. And when the show ended, I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? I could have gone so many different ways. I could have just beaten myself up and just cried and been like, and wanted to bury my head in the sand and call Christine and say, I'm never doing this again. I don't care that I signed a contract with you. I just can't do this. And in the past, that the little girl in me would have absolutely done that. I could easily have created the obstacle for myself to make it so difficult for me to show up today. And I chose not to. For the first time ever, I didn't replay the entire thing in my head before going to sleep. I had the expectation today that it was going to be, that this show was going to be what it was going to be. I have notes and I have thoughts and I have ideas that I want to get out and share with you, because I don't think I'm any different than you. I know I'm not. I get to be one chapter ahead, which for me means that all it is that I've just experienced it and that I can talk about it, and that perhaps I can guide you in another way of stepping out into your own growth. I mean, it's a continual process. I mean, I think back on who I was and how I looked at life 25 years ago, and then how I see it today. I'm so inspired by me, which just makes me laugh, because I didn't like myself for a very long time. I didn't really think I was worthy. I didn't really think my voice was important, or that I had anything of importance to say. And so I actually started listening to those around me who were being supportive and who were telling me that I was worthy. And I was leaning into them until I could be there for myself and show up for myself, because that was the only way for me that I could get out of my own way. I had to put trust in others, that they saw in me what I just couldn't. And my recommendation is that perhaps you start looking for the evidence for yourself where you are the incredible human being that you are. Because I know you are, because I know you are unique, and I know that you can get out of your own way. You do not need to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You can stretch out the merry-go-round, if you will, and just keep it going forward. So now, I guess that's what I've done. I now have different posts where the brass ring is, that I get to go and reach for it. And hell yeah, that's what this is for me. I'm grabbing for that brass ring. I get to show up for myself. This is all, yes, I am being selfish. I'm showing up for me, because I then get to be one other human being on this planet that is showing up for themselves without it being selfish and egoic. I get to be humble. I get to learn. I get to continue to grow. And at first I thought it was about my children, that I needed to grow them, except I had to grow me first. And I still hear the voices in my head, and I still hear all of you. Nope, can't do it. Nope, you shouldn't. Don't put yourself out there. You might get whacked. Yes, I'm still afraid of sticking my head out of the cave and finding that lion that's going to eat me, because I can't run fast enough from it, and it is still bigger and stronger than I am. Although if I don't step out of the cave, I won't actually really be able to see what life is all about, what I actually get to do. I get to show up as a human being every single day. And yes, shit's gonna happen. things are not going to always go as I had planned with the expectations. And then it's about going with the flow. So again, with expectations can take you out of the present moment. And the only thing we have is the here and now, right here, right now, this moment, this moment, this moment. So yes, I could be sitting here and worrying about what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. Yes, although what good is that going to do me and the show? No, I'm just going to be present. And so I'm going to just continue to talk to those who are listening, and with such gratitude. I have such gratitude to all that are listening to me, all that are rooting for me, all that are holding me. And then even for those who are shooting on me, I welcome you as well. I am so grateful for you, because you're right. I should be doing things differently from your perspective, which is great, because your perspective is your perspective. And I am not looking for you to do anything different that's not in alignment with who you are. I'm just going to hold up the mirror and say, is this perspective working for you? Because if this perspective is working for you, great. Who the hell am I to say? I'm not. It's if it's not working, then maybe it's time for you to look at your merry-go-round and whether it's time to get off of it or stretch it out. So you keep growing and you stop going around in circles. So my merry-go-round is now not a go-round. It's a straight bullet train. It goes faster and slower, and I get to just be on it. I get to experience life in the present moment, because there's no point in me even thinking about all the things that I did wrong in the past. Yes, I've forgiven myself. I've asked forgiveness of others. I've just allowed. I've made mistakes. Absolutely. I have regret. Absolutely. Although if I'm worrying about the past, if I'm worrying about the future or being stuck in the past, then I'm not being present. And the presence, like I've already said, is the only thing we have. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard, the past is the past, the future is the future. The present is a present. Anyway, I probably didn't say that correctly or some facsimile thereof. And just be you, because everyone else is taken. And that's been one of my mantras that I have been working with. And when we come back from break, we're going to talk more about, I'm not Canadian, although a lot of the hosts on this incredible network are, except we're going to talk, when we do come back, we're going to talk about some strategies that you could actually do for yourself in terms of helping you get out of your own way, or I shouldn't say helping, supporting you in getting out of your own way. Just things that I have done that have worked, things that I've done that haven't worked. And I look forward to continuing to breathe, continuing to be present, and doing some more chair dancing for all of you that are watching me live. So I'm just going to start moving even though
At different times on our life journey, we can feel stuck and struggle with seeing our way through. What if the answer to the struggle is just to go deeper than the surface? By tuning in to Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols, you'll receive insight and guidance on exploring your feelings in order to heal yourself. Are you ready to create a more satisfying, peaceful, and successful life? Listen for the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also ask questions or comments by email by sending to Sharyn Nichols at feeltoheal.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. You can also find me on Instagram, Feel to Heal with Sharyn, and then I'm also on Facebook. There's a group, Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols. And as I mentioned before, we're going to talk about some strategies for what you can do for you to help you get out of your own way. Although first, I guess I want to bring it back around to, I guess really what it means. I guess I don't think I feel as though I was completely just, complete with the definition of what it means to get out of your own way. I mean, everybody has their own, and again, that's the beautiful thing about being human. So getting out of your own way implies somehow putting aside the anxieties and the doubts that stand between you and your flow. It's as if you just did enough therapy, took enough workshops, read enough books, meditated 24/7, visualized, the power of attraction. Is that what it is? I'm blanking on the title. And that, or if you just manifested enough positive energy, I guess that's the law of attraction. That's what it is. The law of attraction. It's all about the manifesting, the powerfulness of positive, just thinking positively. If you just did it enough, and there's that other word, enough. Anyway, so since I felt as though if I did enough workshops, if I read enough books, if I talked to enough people, if I meditated all the time, and it's the always and then the never. So it's about finding the middle, the balance, and it's truly about getting out of your own head. That's what getting out of your own way is. Getting out of your mind and getting into your body, because your soul knows. Your soul knows where it wants to go. So get out of your own head. I was working with a professional athlete, and every single session was centered around get out of your own head. Your body knows what to do. This person had done so many hours of practice that it was a muscle memory. And so I kept saying, get out of your head. Your body knows what to do. So some strategies. Definitely meditating and doing the 3-minute meditation that is actually on my website, feeltoheal.com. I've put it up there. It's a 3-minute meditation. I know I sort of botched it last week when I was talking about it, and maybe I will include it in another episode. Meditating, dumping the mind, getting whatever thoughts that you need to get out of your head out on paper. I've given my clients different types of assignments, and one of them was to actually write it all down and then rip it up into little pieces, burn it if that's even socially acceptable. Don't want to start any fires anywhere. So that's one thing. The other thing that I have been using for years that has absolutely helped me is animal spirit medicine cards. And there's all different decks of spiritual beings, deities, entities, and just other people's versions of what they've downloaded from their own experience. And so whenever I'm stuck, I go to someone else to get me out of my own head. And for a while, I would also go and I would get readings from different psychics, because not so much that they could predict the future for me. They really can't. I was so stuck and I just needed to get out of my own way. And so I just needed a suggestion. That's all that it is. The mind just needs a suggestion. The mind just needs something else to hang its hat on so you can get out of your own way and start living, doing, being the human being that you were meant to be. So let's see, what else? What's some of my other things? Physically decluttering your space, allowing you the breath for you to be creative, for you to get out of your own way. Because, if you don't have any space, literally, and then figuratively, you're going to be stuck. So keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Just keep swimming. So preparing for this show, I obviously had to get out of my own way. And I know I already mentioned last week's show, I am a continual work in progress. And so next week's show is going to be about what's in your vat. You either swimming in, or what are you allowing to tether you? We all have something. We all have something. So the biggest thing that I've learned about getting out of my own way, and that I would love to share with you, is that you always have a choice. You can choose to continue to go be on the merry-go-round. You can choose to listen to the thoughts that are not serving you in your head. You can choose to listen to those who are shooting on you. Or you can choose to step out of your comfort zone, step out of the cave, and know that, yes, you may get eaten by the lion. Although if you do get eaten by the lion, at least you would have lived. And please stop keeping yourself so small. You are unique and you are incredible just as you are. You are whole and complete, and there's nothing that needs to be fixed. It's about changing your perspective for yourself so you can get out of your own way. I just want to say thank you. I made it through. You made it through with me. I so appreciate you all for being here and listening. And I just have such gratitude. And gratitude is something that I've used to change my perspective. Because even when I feel as though, again, it's a feeling, but first it was a thought. Even when I'm thinking that I'm not worthy, and even when I'm thinking that I don't deserve, or even when I think that I just don't have it and I just don't know what I'm talking about, I come back to gratitude. So in closing, with peace, love, and satisfaction, and as Oscar Wilde said, you might as well be you because everyone else is taken. I look forward to seeing you all next week and talking about that huge vat that you get to choose to either be tethered to or swim in.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show. Sharyn Nichols will return next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, give up the struggle, feel all you need to feel, and make this week your best one yet.